Ice and ground coverage are some of the best offensive coverages you can have right now because there are so many common Pokemon in the format that are just weak to these typings. And that answers the question of how good is Mamoswine. We're going to be trying out a Mamoswine team that almost made day 2 at the Liverpool Regional Championship and seeing how well it can perform. This is a Mamoswine team that went 6-3 at the Liverpool Regional Championship. We have the Tornadus with the Cover Cloak able to get the Tailwind up and is able to do quite a bit, setting up the Tailwind, ignoring the fake outs, has Taunt Pressure to prevent a Moongus from going for Spores, Trick Rooms, and a bunch of other setups, and Rain Dance, which you wouldn't expect Rain Dance because this is going to be a Chi-Yu and Fluttermane team. The specs Fluttermane able to do a lot of damage, especially under that Beads of Ruin, and you wouldn't expect Rain Dance not normally, but it is able to power up the Wellspring Ogerpon and able to make Bleak Wind a bit more consistent, being able to be 100% accurate in that realm. But we do have the Focus Sash Chi-Yu with Snarl to help out a little bit against the Trick Room stuff like the Armorge, the Hatterene plus NDD combos, as well as it's good into Iron Crown plus NDD. Heat Wave able to do quite a bit of damage, and that Focus Sash just allows Chi-Yu to hang on and survive for a little bit longer. Then we have, with common partners, a Wellspring Ogerpon, always been very nice choice with Fluttermane Chi-Yu, that Fire Water Grass core, and Wellspring Ogerpon able to dish out quite a bit of damage and help switch into things like the Surging Strikes from the Water Shifu, while providing Follow Me support, the Raging Bolt to help out against in the opposing Tailwind Mirror, and a Solvus just really good. Volt Switch here is nice as a pivot into the frailer options like that Fluttermane Chi-Yu or the Mamoswine, which Mamoswine's an interesting Pokemon, has a lot of good offensive coverage with the ice and ground coverage being, again, a really good typing case because it's really strong into a lot of the common Pokemon in the format. However, a little bit weird because it is decently slow, but with the Tailwind on Tornadus and Tailwind not being as common, you're able to help out a little bit. And this one's a really unique set with the Loaded Dice, Icicle Spear, and Haze. Haze helps out against the Dundozos and can help out the Mamoswine being able to reduce Intimidate without switching out, which is kind of nice because this one's running a Thick Fat set because it's a bulky Mamoswine, which is able to take attacks a bit better because this one's running actually a lot of physical defense. The Loaded Dice Icicle Spear is a nice way to dish out a lot of damage, break through some Focus Sashes. I've been trying out Loaded Dice Mamoswine as well. I've actually been running Rock Blast over Haze. I didn't even know that Mamoswine got Haze, so that's a really interesting tech to help out against Dundozo. But yeah, it's a really unique option. I was running Oblivious. Thick Fat's going to be an interesting one. We're going to see how bulky it is and see if it actually makes any impact. But if you want to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be in the description down below. And we're going to be trying out the team and seeing how well it performs. Ninetales, Venusaur, Chi-Yu, Whimsicott, Landisfarian, and the Walking Awake, a very threatening team. And I mean a very, very threatening team. If I get Rain up though, Terra Poison, Mamoswine, pretty dang good against it. And I mean pretty dang good. Let's see, how do I want to manage? I do want to bring Torn. Torn Chi-Yu's not a bad lead. I could... Torn Raging Bolt isn't a bad one either. Chi-Yu would allow for like really heavy pressure with Snarl and Heat Wave immediately, which I could take advantage of, but I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I don't think it'd be worth it. Mainly because I'm scared of Walking Wake. Walking Wake's a huge threat. That Mon is a problem. I don't want to lay Torn Flutter, because I feel like we could lead Torn Flutter and then Walking Wake might be forced to Terra. I don't know if the Terra really benefits me if it's Walking Wake that commits it. I think Mamoswine isn't a bad one. I think I'm going to lead Mamoswine plus Torn immediately. I want Fluttermane in the back, I'm pretty sure. I want Chi-Yu offensively. I just do I want Fluttermane or Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt's a pivot, which is not... You know what? I'll bring Raging Bolt. I'm very, very weak to Lando, but we'll see. The thing is, it's going to be hard for them to have Sun plus the Tailwind and Lando at the same time, unless it's Sunny Day Whims. I guess if it's Sunny Day Whims, then it can be a factor. But they can't have like all their offensive tools like at once. If they bring Ninetales, then I don't think it's like that really strong because I can just Rain Dance. We're gonna see Venusaur and Whimsicott. Okay, I'll definitely take this lead. Double Grass into my Torn. Fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna go for Bleak Wind immediately. And you know what? I'm fine with going committal for the Terra. I'm gonna go for an Icicle Spear into, I guess the question is, are we seeing a Sleep Powder turn 1? Or are we just gonna see an attack? I would probably just like to go for a Icicle Spear and knock out the... Getting rid of Whim or getting rid of... I would probably want to get rid of Whims, I think. Because if they didn't bring Sunny Day, then it's probably better. Because I don't know if they're going to go for like Tailwind this turn or if they're going to taunt. And if they taunt, then I really want the KO and the Whim. So I deny Tailwind for the rest of the game. And then Torn takes a turn to sleep. So there's a chance I wake up the next turn and able to get a Bleak Wind off or Tailwind off the following turn. So let's see. I will play a bit aggressive. I think both targets made sense for the Icicle Spear, but we'll see. We're actually just going to see Tailwind. All right. Bleak Wind probably KOs one of them, and the other will probably go down, but we're going to see that Sleep Powder, yeah. So that's not like too surprising. I could have taunted the Venusaur, I suppose, but again, if Whimsicott went for the taunt, I failed to taunt, and Sleep Powder occurs, it's not a great position. So let's see. Icicle Spear going to come out into the Whimsicott slot, which will be able to pick up a knockout with that loaded dice guaranteed, and it looks like it's not going to be a Healing Berry, so that is 100% a knockout. Okay. So goodbye, Whimsicott. Are they going to be able to take advantage of their Tailwind turns? They do have to bring something that threatens Mamoswine. I don't think a Life Orb or Power from Venusaur would pick up the knockout into the Mamoswine, but I could be underestimating. Landa's going to come in. Okay. That's where the threat is, but they don't have any good offensive pressure against Torn unless they click Rock Slide or Stone Edge, which I don't think is too bad. I would like to probably just set up a Tailwind if I can. And just protect this turn. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't protect this turn and stall out. I could get rid of the Intimidate, but like I don't think it's really helping too much. Let's see. Torn wakes up and gets a Tailwind off. That's so big for me. Okay, so I get a huge Tailwind with Torn. Awesome. And they do actually lock in the Rock Slide. All right, so they are going to start pressuring the Torn. I wonder what item your Orlando is, because that's a big one. We're going to see Weather Ball into the Mamoswine. Okay, I guess it's Grass Move. Is it Sludge Bomb, Grass Move, Weather Ball, Sleep Powder? I'm okay with that if that's the option. I'm just gonna taunt the Venusaur and are you a Solvus Lando? The thing is, this Mamoswine has a lot of bulk, and I mean a lot of bulk. We might actually be able to tank the Lando ground move, so I'm actually gonna go for an Icicle Spear and just taunt the Venusaur to make sure that I can't get a Sleep Powder off again. They do lock in a Rock Slide, so I'm kind of curious if they're locked in a Rock Slide, if they're like Choice Scarf or something. Horn goes down. They did Sleep Powder. Yep. Nice. Big Icicle Spear in Lando. Okay. That's goodbye, Lando. 3 hits, even through Intimidate. Very nice. And now we're down to the last 2. I have an extra turn of Tailwind against them. The Venusaur's taunted, so it can't protect. Or Sleep Powder. And I don't know if they just got rid of the grass or this other move. We're going to go into Raging Bolt. I could have went Chiyu and double protected to stall out their last turn Tailwind, but I don't think it's necessary. We are going to see Walking Wake come out. Yeah, okay. So I don't think they have any pressure against the Raging Bolt. The Walking Wake last turn a Tailwind for them. I have 2. I think my best play is probably just to go for a Thunderbolt into the Walking Wake and just go for Protect with my Mamoswine. And I'm pretty sure we're seeing a Terra from my opponent. Yeah. We're probably going to see the Terra on the Wake, I'd imagine, to get rid of the Dragon weakness. Exactly. Okay. Terra Poison. I think this ends up working out really well because next turn I Icicle Spear to Venusaur while I have my Tailwind turn up. And the Venusaur can't go for a Protect if it does have it because of the taunt. So they go for a Draco Meteor Fire off. That's okay. They're now at -2 Aegis special attack. Yikes, that damage was actually a lot. That is Specs or Life Orb, one of the two, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Life Orb, okay. And Weather Ball gonna happen into the Mamoswine. I'm completely okay with that trade. I get a free switch to Chiyu, and then I start threatening some very, very heavy damage. So we'll go out at Chiyu, and I'm just gonna go for Dark Pulse into the Walking Wake and a Yeah, I'm just gonna Dark Pulse the Walking Wake. I could. Do I think Icicle Spear KOs the Venusaur? I guess that's a question I should legitimately ask. If I don't, I guess I could click Snarl too. Snarl makes a ton of sense. And I think, you know what? I will. I'm going to Icicle Spear the Venusaur and I'm going to Snarl. I don't think it's too bad. We're not going to see a Protect, which is an interesting decision on my opponent's part. So I am able to get the special attack drops. And if not, it wasn't a super big deal because I did have the Focus Sash on Chi-Yu and the Walking Wake's taking a Life Orb chip. And yeah, I'm actually kind of glad I did go for the Snarl damage because it does look like depending on the Icicle Spear rolls, I think I would have not been able to pick up the knockdown on Venusaur because I don't have that much attack investment on the Mamoswine, I think, on this team. So that's perfect. I'm going to see Hydro Steam. Yep, into the Chi-Yu, which is nice. Wow, that doesn't even that's kind of surprising. I guess it is minus. Oh, it's -3. I didn't have to go. I went for Snarl because it was more accurate than Heat Wave. Like, that's the only reason I clicked it, but kind of shocked that it did so little. That I can go for just Icicle Spear and Dark Pulse, and Icicle Spear should be enough to finish off the Walking Wake, especially after another Life Orb hit. Beautiful. I think that just shows the offensive power of Mamoswine. The coverage was really good, as it hit all 4 of my opponent's Pokemon super effectively, especially since they chose a Terra Poison Walking Wake right there. Mamoswine was able to break through any Focus Sashes, which, again, I don't know if the Whimsicott was Focus Sash or it was the Venusaur that was Focus Sash. I just wanted to play around a weakness policy on the Venusaur. I could have went for Dark Pulse Icicle Spear, I suppose, but I did want some damage on Wake, and I felt like 95 is not too bad to risk there, and it did work out. My Milotic is interesting. With Ninetales Alola, we have Raging Bolt, the Heartflame Ogerpon, Rillaboom, and Landorus. So definitely a cool team. I like Mamoswine a lot here. It puts on pressure against the Raging Bolt, the Landorus. Thick Fat's actually pretty nice here. Terra Poison's really strong against the Double Grass, especially if they're Grassy Glide stuff. So yeah, I do like the probably... I guess the question is what do I want to lead? I don't think Raging Bolt's not bad like in this matchup. I just don't know if I want to bring it. I don't really need Volspring Ogerpon either though, so I guess that's a thing. I guess I want to lead Chi-Yu. I think Chi-Yu Torn is pretty strong. Cause yeah, I don't want to bring Flutter Mane. I really don't against this matchup. I think I am gonna bring Chi-Yu Torn, Mamoswine. I guess it has to be Raging Bolt. I'm not a super big fan of this. I think Mamoswine's good. It's just like, how do I position the Mamoswine correctly? I think that's what's tricky because I don't think I can really go Flutter Mane against Double Grassy Glide. So I got to make sure I have pressure for that. I guess if they did lead Double Grassy Glide though, I had Torn, but the thing is Torn is slow. So the problem is I get outsped by the Ogerpon, Heartflame, and go down to Ivy Cudgel before going for the Bleak Wind. I do have Rain Dance, but the thing is I'm still taking a lot of damage from Ivy Cudgel. It might be in range of another one. So we're going to see a Milotic plus a Raging Bolt lead. Okay. Not amazing. Yeah, I don't think this is too bad though. I think I can just get some damage across the board. I do want a Dark Pulse. I really want to weaken this Raging Bolt because Raging Bolt I feel like is such a big problem. And then I'm gonna bring in my own Raging Bolt so I can Volt Switch pivot. Because this could be Electro Web Scald, which I think it could be. A good lead on my opponent's part. This is not a good lead for me. Probably should have led my own Raging Bolt. Dark Pulse, Assault Vest confirmed. Scald going to come out in a Chi-Yu. And Thunderbolt. Okay. So that's nice. It's not Electro Web. And I guess the part is we could go down to Thunderclap, which is not pleasant. I'm going to actually bring out my Torn this turn and go for a Volt Switch. I guess I could have also went Mamoswine earlier, which would have been acceptable, but yeah, I do think I want to go for the Thunder. I do think I want to Volt Switch out the Milotic and get some decent positioning. If they're going for Thunderbolt, I don't know if they actually have Electro Web because I think Electro Web was pretty safe there, but we'll see. Torn gonna come in. They go for Thunderclap to try to prevent the Chi from getting damage, which is nice. Icy Wind, perfect, because I do have the Cobra Cloak. I have a pretty good position now. Okay, I like this. And a Volt Switch for free damage into my Milotic. A good amount of damage. That was a critical hit. Okay, I was about to say that did a bit too much damage right there, but we'll definitely take it. Okay, want to bring out the Mamoswine. And I think I want to just Icicle Spear. So I have an option of going for the Terra with Torn, but I don't think it's worth it. I think my play is just to always Tailwind and Icicle Spear. I guess the question is Raging Bolt ever going to Terra this turn? I could Icicle Spear. I could Bleak Wind too. Do I want to give up potential Torn? It might be worth, because Tailwind is probably more obvious than Bleak Wind, actually. You know what? I'm going to risk it. I'm going to Bleak Wind and I'm going to Icicle Spear to Milotic. At worst, I get rid of Milotic and lose the Torn. We trade. But if I get into a really good position, Milotic goes down to Bleak Winds. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, I didn't pick up the knockout into Milotic with Bleak Wind. That's fortunate. Okay, I do get the KO onto Milotic with the Icicle Spear. I was hoping Bleak Wind would just do a little bit more KOing than Milotic, but Milotic does have like what, a base 125 special defense, I think. So it's actually really good. Draco Meteor into Torn. Oh, they expected the Terra. Unfortunately, I do lose Torn there, so this is still not great, but they do have a -2 special attack, so it's not awful. I guess the question is who's coming out next. I'm going to bring out my Raging Bolt, I think. Could be Rillaboom coming in, I suppose. What is this? This is Ogerpon. Okay. Our Flame Ogerpon comes in, which is A-okay. As long as it's not Sword Stance, I think I'm good. I'm going to Draco Meteor the Ogerpon and protect. Actually, do I need to protect? I can go on the offense. I do have Terra Poison for a reason. I think I'm going to Terra Poison just Icicle Spear because there's no way they're going to go for Thunderclap in this position. We're going to see a Terra from the Ogerpon. And this actually could be really good because this is where Thick Fat Mamoswine can come in. Because we tank the Ivy Cudgel with the Thick Fat plus the Terra, and then Draco Meteor into the Ogerpon, and then Icicle Spear into the Bolt. This could be a really good turn. This also might still be like, it's still nowhere near a guaranteed win game, but like, it's not looking too bad. It's not looking too shabby. Bring out the Terra Poison on the Mamoswine. Ivy Cudgel gonna come out. This should always be into the Mamo. Yep. Ooh, very, very nice. Wait, we're faster? But they're -2. Okay. All right, the Mamoswine's so slow. I keep forgetting sometimes how slow the Mamoswine is because I was testing a Mamoswine on a different team too. And it was just like, I was running fast Mamoswine and it's just like, yeah, because I keep thinking of like its others, like its actual speed invested number, but this one is really slow. Okay, Draco Meteor connects. Perfect. It's in Thunderclap range. So this is where the game gets awkward. I don't know. Do you have Rillaboom? You do have Rillaboom. I'm surprised Rillaboom didn't come out earlier. I'm going into Chi-Yu, and I think I always protect the Mamoswine. Yeah. The problem is I could actually still lose the game, and I actually do think it's actually pretty decently likely here. Depends on what A, the Ogerpon clicks this turn, B, do I get a free switch or not, because that's also a pretty big factor. So I'm going to retreat my Raging Bolt because I do want to reset the special attack so I can actually deal with Rillaboom. Also, does the Rillaboom have high horsepower on this team is also another good question because that is going to be a pretty threatening move. We do protect our Mamoswine. We want the Grassy Terrain healing to avoid Fake Out as well. The Grassy Glide into Mamoswine. Is this a double with Ivy Cudgel or did they... No shot, right? Oh, they double Grassy Glide to avoid the Thunderclap, which makes sense. I don't know if that knocks out Mamoswine though. That's my problem with that play. I don't think it would. Because Mamoswine has a bunch of physical defense investment. Okay, Ivy, this Ivy Cudgel, it really depends on how much it does. It really depends on how much it does. I could also protect Chiyu too, which I probably should because they're always Grassy Gliding to Chiyu in this position. I made my play so always Icicle Spear to Rillaboom. Yeah, and protect Chiyu. Because I think I go down to Rillaboom Grassy Glide, but I think after a Grassy Terrain turn, I might survive the next one. The Grassy Glide into that, and then Ivy Cudgel into Mamoswine. Can Mamoswine survive? This is gonna be really close. That's so clutch. As Icicle Spear into Rillaboom. Oh, that damage looks too close for comfort. Oh, please pick up the knockout. Oh, thank goodness. Too close for comfort. Too close for comfort damage wise. Now I could just break through the Ogerpon by itself. Oh, this Mamoswine. So good here. So good. We go for a Dark Pulse. We go for Icicle Spear because it should pick up the knockout on Ogerpon at this range anyway. If we did go down to the Ivy Cudgel, I bring in the Raging Bolt. I click Thunderbolt into the Flame Ogerpon, and then it just comes down to does the Rillaboom. I think it comes down to does Rillaboom have high horsepower or not, but also I could have just went down solo. I think I would probably go for a double protect for Chiyu and then Thunderbolt the Ogerpon, because they're probably going to attack the Chiyu slot with Grassy Glide from the Ogerpon, because I think I get out of range from Rillaboom's Grassy Glide, and then I KO the Ogre, and also to avoid Thunderclap and then Thunderbolt KOs. But again, could have been a lot of circumstantial parts there. Fluttermane, Urshifu, Tornadus, Heatran, the regular Ogerpon, and Blood Moon Ursaluna. Tailwind with, it could be Trick Mountain Fluttermane with the Blood Moon Ursaluna, so I'll keep my eyes opened out there. But this is going to be an interesting matchup. Mamoswine's not too bad. It can hit the Heatran, it can hit the Ogerpon, and it can hit the Blood Moon for pretty decent damage. Depends on the Urshifu. I'm not sure if this is Sunny Day. I feel like Sunny Day on the Torn with Dark Urshifu would make a lot of sense on this team. For the Photosynthesis on the Fluttermane, the Heatran powered up, so I don't think it'd be a bad option. Let's see. I think I do want to go with Torn in this game. Torn is very good for the mirror. Torn plus Chiyu doesn't sound like a bad one. I could also lead Raging Bolt, which they don't exactly have the best answers to. I kind of like the Torn Raging Bolt idea a lot, actually. And I think in the back, I do like Mamoswine offensively if I can position it right. And then last Pokemon, I don't really like Fluttermane too much. It's useful though. I do kind of like Chiyu. The problem with Chiyu is it's not exactly a Pokemon I can switch in, but I don't think I'm really switching against this team, because they have a lot of offensive tools. So I think I'm going to bring the Chiyu. The Focus Sash is pretty useful because they do have a very offensive team. Now, I guess the question is, is it going to be Trick Room Fluttermane? Like, they could lead, like, Torn Flutter and, like, switch out to Torn into, like, a Blood Moon or Saluna and Trick Room. I hope I don't speak that into fruition right here, but we're going to see the Heatran and the Ogerpon lead. So this is actually a pretty good lead here. Raging Bull plus Torn is actually a really solid one. Raging Bull in a pretty good offensive position, because it's not super threatened. I can go for a lot of things like a Volt Switch immediately, or do I want to go for something else? I would probably like to Bleak Wind immediately. I could Rain Dance too, which is also another one. I think Bleak Wind and Volt Switch isn't a bad one here. Although I don't really like Volt Switch against the Heatran, but it depends on the speed of the Heatran too. I think I will Bleak Wind. Do I think the Heatran's going to be faster than Bolt? I have a feeling it probably is. I'm going to Volt Switch. Let's see. Bleak Wind, they allow me to get the Bleak Wind off. That Ogerpon takes it pretty decently well. No Well, we didn't confirm. Okay, no speed drop, which is nice. They go for an Ivy Cudgel into the Torn. Not going to be able to do that much damage. And the Heat Wave does come out. The Heatran is faster, which is nice. Torn Avoids, which is huge, actually. Okay, we'll definitely take that. And a Life Orb Heatran. Okay, very, very nice. I think Torn might have survived, but it really depends. Able to get a good amount of damage to the Heatran. And now we get to go out into our Mamoswine, I think. We could go out in a Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu's not a bad one either, because I could just Tailwind Dark Pulse, and that's not a bad one. I do kind of like the Mamoswine in, I think. Kind of debate. I think I do like Mamoswine a lot here. I'm going to bring in the Mamoswine, because it does threaten both of these Pokemon offensively. And we could maybe bait a Terra from the Ogerpon, which is kind of what I'm hoping that happens here. So I'm going to go for a Tailwind with my Torn, and I'm gonna go for Protect with my Mamoswine and try to bait the Ogerpon to maybe go for a Terra so it can outspeed the Mamoswine under Tailwind, because Mamoswine isn't exactly the fastest Pokemon, and this Mamoswine is not that fast. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could get a Tailwind up, maybe force a Terra, because they don't exactly have the best switches. It looks like no Terras. All right, we will protect our Mamoswine, because we're gonna see Follow Me come out. All right, I don't know about Follow Me. Maybe they just want to sack both of these Pokemon. I do get the Tailwind up with Torn, and we're gonna see the Heat Wave come out. Okay, so let's see if Torn would have went down earlier to the Life Orb Heat Wave. Yeah, I didn't think we would have previously, but we are in range now. I'm just gonna go for a Bleak Wind, and you know, sometimes you have to hit moves, so I will just go for the high horsepower into the Heatran. And let's just see how... I guess maybe this is more of the inaccurate route. Sure, I could have went into Chi-Yu, but I think I'd probably have went greedy and clicked Snarl. So either way, I think I had to hit moves regardless. I have to hit more moves in this case, but I offer more offensive pressure. I wonder what their back is. We're going to see Spiky Shield from the Ogerpon. This might be a double protect just to scout what I'm clicking here. Or just sack the Heatran, which is fine. Maybe they want to bring out the Torn, and if they bring out the Torn, that's fine. I missed the Heatran, which is fine. I just got to hit the high horsepower, which is the 95% accurate move. So we do hit the Heatran. Nice, picking up that KO, which is huge. And Mamoswine, again, still in a really good offensive position. Let's see if they bring out Torn. If they bring out Torn, I'm clicking Bleak Wind, and I think I'm going to Terra. I think it's worth, because my Torn is going to be faster than the Ogerpon, even if they Tailwind, because we saw the speed interaction previously. So I should be able to get a Bleak Wind unless they go for a Terra themselves. They're actually going to go hard into Urshifu and Dark Urshifu, which is fine. I'm just going to click Bleak Wind, and I'm just going to click an Icicle Spear. Yeah, I don't see a problem with just going for Icicle Spear, Bleak Wind, because they're going to go for Follow Me. But the thing is, my Torn's faster. And okay, so they go for Sucker Punch, which makes sense. So Sucker Punch is going to pick up the knockout Torn. But I'm okay with Torn going down. As I mentioned before, I would have got a free swap earlier. So I will bring out... Let's see what their last is. Because if it's Torn, I'm probably going to Terra my Mamoswine. And then it really depends on the rest. So I'm going to bring out my Raging Bolt, I think. Yeah, I like the idea of Raging Bolt. I think Mamoswine should be in a pretty comfortable position. It is Torn in the back. Okay. So I like the idea if I get a KO, I just win the game. I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt into the Torn, and I'm just going to go for the Terra. Terra Poison just to get rid of my fighting weakness, because I would probably go down to close combat, but I'm definitely not going down to Wicked Blow. So I'm going to go for an Icicle Spear into... I'm going to go for Urshifu. I don't know if they have Protect on the Torn, and they would protect the Torn this turn. Yet... I'm just going to spread out my attacks. I don't know if we're going to see the Terra on Torn, which I think is fine, because even if the Torn Terras, that's pretty acceptable. As I'm pretty sure that Raging Bull's just going to survive the turn anyway. And if they don't Terra with Urshifu, they're not getting a knockout here for sure. So I'm always just able to go for like a Thunderclap with the Raging Bolt the next turn, because I don't think they have a way to knock out Raging Bolt without a Terra Dark on the Urshifu at least. And even if they're Terra Dark... they're not choice banded if they don't Sucker Punch. We do see a Terra come out from the Torn. It is going to be the Terra Steel, which is absolutely fine. Okay. And let's see how much damage we're doing. Okay, Urshifu protects. This could be Bleak Wind, which I'm okay with. as we do fail the Icicle Spear. I guess I could have doubled a Torn, but I wasn't too sure. I still think this is okay. I didn't need my Terra for much. We're going to get a Thunderbolt off into the Torn and just crit it. Unfortunate for my opponent. I think with Focus Sash Chiyu and the Thunderclap option, I would have been fine. Like, what were they clicking here? Icy Wind, Bleak Wind. They weren't really doing too much damage. Sure, maybe the Mamoswine gets... I don't think Mamoswine would get put in range of Wicked Blow, though. Because they aren't... Because they just, I don't think would have done enough. This Mamoswine also has a lot of decent bulk. It actually has a lot of physical defense investment too. So I think I would have been fine regardless. But unfortunate for my opponent. Pretty much no chance of winning. But I don't think I was in a bad spot even if I didn't crit. Because again, I think Chi would have just been able to sweep. So nice. I wish they kind of Wicked Blow because I wanted to show the Mamoswine's bulk. I wanted them just to Tailwind and go for the Wicked Blow and the Mamoswine. I'm like, okay, I proved that Mamoswine's bulky enough, but you know what? We'll still take the win. All right, a Fluttermane, Chiyu, Dragonite, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Raging Bolt, and Iron Leaves. What the heck is that Iron Leaves doing there? Mamoswine's really good. Icicle Spear puts on a lot of pressure, but there is the Fluttermane Chiyu. I'm kind of curious if there's electric terrain on this team. There's a lot to indicate electric terrain, but the thing is, I don't know if any of these mons gets it. The Paradox Pokemon, I believe, get it. With Raging Bolt and Iron Leaves, I think both have access to it, but I don't think Fluttermane does, if I'm not mistaken. I know it gets Misty terrain. I'm pretty sure it doesn't get electric terrain. They have a lot of ice weaknesses though. And I mean a lot of ice weaknesses. So I do want to bring Torn. Torn Mamoswine's actually not bad here. Yeah, no, it's pretty strong here actually. I do like Torn Mamoswine quite a bit. And then in the back, I guess the question is, do I even want to bring my Raging Bolt? I kind of want to just go with like a lot of offensive pressure. So you know what? I'm going to bring Chiyu Flutter in the back. I think I can sweep with Flutter Endgame if I get enough damage with Mamoswine immediately under Tailwind. So let's find out. They do have the Raging Bolts and Thunderclap in electric terrain. If they have a way to step on electric terrain, would do a ton of damage, especially with Beats of Ruin. Might be able to knock out a Fluttermane. So I got to be cautious of that just in case. We're going to see the Fluttermane plus the Raging Bolt lead. So this is A-okay by me. We lead the Mamoswine plus Torn. Let's see if there's a booster energy involved here somewhere. It is going to be on the Fluttermane. All right. Going to be speed, which is not too surprising. Okay. I'm going to go for my Tailwind immediately. The question is, what am I doing with Mamoswine? Do I want to go for the Raging Bolt or do I want to target down their Flutter immediately? I don't think I need to target down the Flutter. It's not like too bad if I don't. I'm pretty sure I can just go for an Icicle Spear into the Raging Bolt pretty safely. And you know what? I will go for it. Unless they make a Chiyu play, which they did switch out the Bolt. So if you went Chiyu... That's not Chiyu though. That is... Oh, Dragonite? They thought I was going to go for Earthquake probably. So that's actually really good because I'm able to get an Icicle Spear off into the Dragonite slot. They went for Icy Wind, which is nice. Thick Bats, Mamoswine, able to tank it extremely well. And this Icicle Spear into the Dragonite, Chef's Kiss because... is that multi-scale? Yeah, it was multi-scale. So I'm able to knock out the Dragonite. Beautiful, beautiful turn start here. Icicle Spear really proving some worth. Right, Icicle Crash... might have failed a knockout, so having that loaded dice Icicle Spear, just being able to bypass that multi-scale hit, showcasing a really nice thing about Icicle Spear. Let's figure out what the Pokemon coming in is next. Gonna be that Chiyu, which is not too surprising. I think I sweep them with Bleak Wind plus a free swap, so I'm actually just gonna go for a Protect with my Mamoswine and Bleak Wind, get the damage that I need. Right, the Bleak Winds, I'm in a good spot. I do miss one of the Bleak Winds, unfortunately, is in the Chiyu, which isn't the worst one to miss. Okay. I guess speed drop on the Fluttermane in response, though, which is actually really nice. Wave gonna come out, pick up the knock. Oh, oh no, wait, no. No, it is Scarf Chiyu, right? Okay, it's not Trick Room, Speed Booster, Flutter. That would have been insane if that was the case, but... unless the Flutter is super slow Speed Booster, I just don't see it. And it outspeed Mamoswine under Tailwind, so I don't know about the math right there. Let me check the Mamoswine speed. Actually, no, that would make sense. If it was slow speed booster, it would outspeed the Mamoswine. So we go into Flutter Mane. And we're going to be able to put on a lot of offensive pressure with Gleam. I guess missing the Bleak window is actually still pretty crucial because I don't know if the Chi-Yu probably going to outspeed now. Actually, it has to be a really slow Flutter though, right? It should be Scarf. I'm just going to go for a Specs Dazzling Gleam. I think it should KO the Flutter. Bleak Wind did a lot. I'm pretty sure Specs Dazzling Gleam should easily KO. And then I'm going to go out of my own Chi-Yu because I think Mamoswine's way more crucial. Like having Mamoswine still around on the field, I think is like really big. I'm going to go out into the Chi-Yu. And let's see what they decide to go for. They do have Protect as an option. Oh, a Terra. On what? The Chi-Yu? Oh, are you Terrifier? It looks like it is going to be Terrifier. Okay. I'm a bit worried. Is it Specs Chi-Yu? I can't tell now. Dazzling Gleam going to come out. Should knock out the Flutter. Oh, did that not knock out the Flutter actually? Wait, that might have messed it up a bit. I thought with the Bleak Wind damage, I thought I would have KO'd the Flutter, but that is not a KO into Flutter. They Moonblast my Chi-Yu. It's not a knockout, but oh boy. I mean, I guess I still Dark Pulse the Chi-Yu and I Dazzling Gleam if they have double Protect. I mean, I'm still faster than probably both of these Pokemon. It's just depending on Raging Bolt. Like, that's the thing. We're gonna see the Chi-Yu actually swap into the Raging Bolt. Oh, they're really, really hoping for Raging Bolt to survive this because I thought they needed it for the Thunderclap. Maybe they just don't have Protect on anything. A Dazzling Gleam's just able to pick up the knockout into Flutter Mane. Look at all that damage to Raging Bolt. The question is, do I KO with Dark Pulse? All right. So it's going to come down to A, if the Chi-Yu is max speed, because if they aren't max speed Chi-Yu, I do just win the game. So I will just Dazzling Gleam. I guess they could. I don't know who they're going to go for Thunderclap. I feel like the Raging Bull is forced to Thunderclap or they lose the game. I guess I'll just Snarl. Actually, I probably shouldn't went for this investment because like it should be obvious that the Bolt is the Assault Vest. So I should have actually went for the Dark Pulse. Yeah, I should have went for the Dark Pulse. Let's see. Okay, that is a lucky dodge. So wait, or was I modest? I actually forgot if I was modest or timid. Wait, was I modest? No, I was timid. Okay, so it was a speed tie. Okay, but thankfully we will be able to win. Yeah, that was silly, I suppose, because if I missed Snarl, but then again, it actually did come down to an exact speed tie, it looked like. I will go for a Terra with my Mamoswine and go for a... I mean, I could still lose this game. It's not like I've won just yet. I'm going to Protect and I'm going to High Horsepower. And I think... Was it better to Ice Ghost Spear twice? No, I think it's always better to High Horsepower because they could Heat Wave Burn as well. I'm trying to figure out the map of like, oh, this is a guarantee or not, but this is still tricky because if I miss High Horsepower or Heat Wave crits or something, I Terra to get rid of my Ice Beak. So that's what I was kind of hoping for because I am able to now resist the Heat Wave. I don't think I would have had enough firepower without that Heat Wave dodge though. So we will protect the Chi-Yu. Heat Wave going to come out. Terra Fire Heat Wave. That did nothing. It did get the bird. Wait, that actually did nothing to Mamoswine. What the heck? High Horsepower able to knock out the Chi-Yu. Like, I know we have Thick Fat. It was -1, but it really did not do that much damage to Mamoswine. I still think the best play was the Dark Pulse, the Raging Bolt slot, but yeah, I mean, that position was just tricky to navigate. Maybe I should have committed to Terra Fairy. Just so I could have gotten a knockout into... Because if I had Terra Fairy, A, I would have knocked out the Flutter Mane. B, pressure the Bolt. But the Bolt would have gotten a free switch and would have been able to Thunderclap. So I don't know if that's actually correct on my part. I think regardless, like it would have still been... It might have actually put me in a worse spot. just because if they got the free switch to Raging Bolt while having the Terrifier Chi-Yu, it actually was awkward. As you saw, they were forced to switch out. They took so much damage in the process, and that might have actually been better for me than taking the knockout. But yeah, maybe it was better to Power Gem in that moment. And it might have been. All right, let's go over to games. In game 1, a great early wake up with Tornadus to match Tailwinds and deny a sleep powder incoming from Venusaur Taunt meant that Mamoswine was able to pick up so many knockouts onto my opponent because they were very weak to the ice coverage. In game 2, not the best lead, but was able to build up some good damage early on and was in a good spot after they went for Draco Meteor with the Raging Bolt into Tornadus, expecting my Raging Bolt to switch in again that I did previously, or a potential Terra. With Mamoswine's Terra Poison and a clutch survival, was able to get the knockout onto Rillaboom that I needed. In game 3, had a great lead advantage and was able to put on a lot of damage at the start of the battle and overwhelm in Tailwind after they lost too many resources early on. In game 4, a great start knocking out Dragon Knight on turn 1, but got a bit weird with the Chi-Yu Fluttermane mirrors. Came down to speed tie and hitting our moves, which one of them was a miss for my opponent after they won the speed tie, so I was able to win the game. I think Mamoswine does have actually a lot of potential, and it's why I was experimenting with it a bit earlier. The loaded dice set is definitely interesting. I was using it as a way with Icicle Spear to pressure Raging Bolts, but also Rock Blast to pressure Chien Pao as well. And I thought that was a pretty unique tech, and I was running Oblivious to prevent Intimidate, which I think with Incineroar becoming more common might be a bit more helpful than Fig Fat, but Fig Fat actually came in handy quite a bit. We were able to see how well Mamoswine was able to take the Ivy Cudgel, for instance, from that Heartflame Ogerpon. The Heat Wave from Chi-Yu was also pretty strong, so fantastic abilities overall. If you do want to try out the team, the rent code is on your screen. Hopefully it is still available by the time the video comes out, and of course you could check out the details of the team in the creator down below in the description, but subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.